watch and learn.
Hey everybody, so tonight I want to talk about Ty West's, Jesus, when did this movie come out? 2011 film, and that is The Innkeepers. Now, wow, I have never been so split about a movie in my entire life. I love everything about this movie. From the Yankee Peddler, where it's filmed, kind of got some real Overlook Hotel vibes. I love the cast, the very small cast, and I love the story, and I love how honest everything seems, and I loved how genuine everybody was. It was like, you know, a couple of college dropouts who weren't exactly sure where they belonged in the world, so they're working at this hotel this is its last night, it's being closed down, and they're just sort of wandering aimlessly through life. And it's really relatable because when I was in my early 20s, I was in school, but I still didn't really feel like I should have been in school. I felt like I was too young. And so I could really relate to the characters from that sort of being in your early 20s and sort of feeling like you're spiraling out of control. So I really identified with that. And I thought the movie was really cool. It's got so much atmosphere and it's so much fun. And it's a really good ghost story. But at the same time, it's not really scary. So it's more inclusive in that sense, that if you're like, oh shit, it's a ghost movie, I don't know about that shit freaks me out. Well, this movie isn't really that kind of ghost movie. I mean, what's the chick's name? Madeline O'Malley. That's the ghost that they are hunting for in this film. And there are a couple like jump scare-ish points, but that's not the type of ghost story that this is telling. This is more, I would say, of an old school ghost story told more in the Elizabethan sense, where it's more about the history and it's more about the atmosphere than it is about like the ghost coming to get you, or the ghost like making loud noises and attempting to terrify everybody out of the hotel, which we've all seen done to death. That isn't this kind of movie. This movie is more subtle and it's more nuanced, and the Yankee Peddler reminds me of like the coolest library on the planet for some reason. And I think that I get that library vibe from it because it just seems so historical, and it just seems like such a good place to relax, and it's like a really good place to read a book. That's like my favorite part about the Yankee Peddler, is just how I felt like I could really be at home reading there. And now that I just said that out loud, I realized I'm probably the only person in the world that felt like they could read there. But that's like what I really love about that hotel. Okay, the bad is that I couldn't stand the end. I've never been this split. I have never enjoyed the first 7/10 of a film to be so completely disappointed with the last 3/10. And I'm not disappointed even in a sense that I thought it was poorly made or poorly shot or poorly written. It's just I don't like how easily it wrapped up. Like, Madeline O'Malley got Claire. Claire is the name of the blonde chick. She's the focus of the film. Her and Luke are pretty much the two focuses. And Madeline O'Malley gets Claire because Claire has been warned to stay out of the basement. And of course she doesn't, because she starts to find real, honest paranormal activity. So of course she gets excited. They've got all this EVP shit. They're going to record it because Luke was setting up this website. Because it's the early two... Wait, no, this movie feels more like the early 2000s, because I know in the early 2000s a lot of people were trying to get in on the ruin porn / haunted house craze that was going on by setting up websites. But this movie did come out in 2011, but it does really have some really early 2000s vibe, because I almost said that at times like this in the early 2000s, but that's right, this movie is from 2011. And I'm not exactly sure if it takes place in 2011. I think it does, because they don't reference the early 2000s at all. But I can say for sure that in the early 2000s, so many people were obsessed with places like Danvers, like the old asylum that they used in the movie Session 9. And it was called ruin porn, because everything had the fucking porn attached to it. Ruin porn, torture porn, zombie porn. I never got that myself, but it was called ruin porn, and everybody was really into it. That and ghosts and shit. Everyone wanted to get rich off it. So Luke wanting to do that is so reminiscent of the early 2000s. That's why I was like, I thought this might have been from the early 2000s. I can't stand the end. It's just too neat. It's too clean. Claire dies. The movie ends. It just seems too cut and like walled off, and it's just compartmentalized, and the movie has concluded. I just didn't love that. And I love Ty West. I think Ty West is a genius. I love that he edits his own films. He hasn't made a bad movie. I absolutely love everything he's done. This, The Sacrament, and House of the Devil have to be my absolute favorites. But Mia Goth's performance in Pearl was She should have been nominated for an Oscar. I just don't know if horror is ever going to actually be able to sort of bridge that gap with the Oscars. I mean, the closest I think it's ever come was The Silence of the Lambs, and that was kind of like a horror movie, but it was more like a thriller. So look, I'm going to stop talking about this movie. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discuss Ty West's 2011 film, The Innkeepers. Like always, if you like this review or you love this movie, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But most importantly, please don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I am going to go because I'm getting kind of cold. Have a good night.